I'd like to introduce longtime friend, Rotarian, Frank Quinn. And you'll notice on it says Alaska Quinn as his name. His name's not really Alaska, but that's what he lives in Alaska half the year. And when I first met Frank, he described to me how he had set up computer labs in very impoverished areas. He would go there, live the way with them, live in their homes, live, eat the same food they were, immerse himself in their culture, and set up computer labs.
Eat Rambo. What are you playing?
And when he told me that, our Rotary Club just happened to be in the process of buying some computers for a computer lab, 2 computer labs in Pakistan. I said, "Would you go there?" He said, "Sure." So and at that point, he was willing to pay for his own way, but our Rotary Club chipped in so that it would pay for his plane ticket. And because Frank was so experienced in setting up computer labs in third world and developing countries, he knew what we needed to do. He knew that our computers needed to be on the desk, not under the floor, because they would collect dust. He knew that you could that every student should wear a medallion. Like you remember the computers at that time. I don't know if laptops were invented, but you label the computers 1 through 10. They'd wear a medallion of the number. Then behind them were 10 chairs. That's where the next bunch of students would be seated, and they'd wear the medallion of the computer they would sit at, and they would each be there for a certain amount of time. And that's just 2 of the 50 things he taught us that would make a computer lab successful. Um, so, so with that'll be my and Frank again is a Rotarian. He's the president of the E Club in I forgot the official name of it, Frank.
Upstate New York.
The E Club of Upstate New York, which is part of Mechanicville Rotary, and Mechanicville Rotary has an amazing history of the things it's accomplished over the
years. Yes, 100 years this year.
100 years. One of the things that they did was in Saratoga, there was farmland that is where they say one of the 10 most important battles of all history took place. And it's where is the Battle of Saratoga. It was made the turning point in America, dividing itself from England. That was, and the Mechanicville Rotary said, "Hey, these farms are going to become developed. If we want to preserve it as a park, we need to do it now." And they did it. And today it's a federal park with a visitor center, and they've recreated all of the. They've maintained the buildings and the fields as they looked at that time. That was a major accomplishment for the Mechanicville Rotary. So that's a little off topic, but just wanted to, Frank, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, I'll try sharing the screen. There's about 7 slides, and then we'll repeat the content because sometimes I go too fast. So let's see. I'm trying, you can set PowerPoint as a virtual background now for anybody that has to present. And let's try PowerPoint virtual background to share. And it kicks in and puts me at the bottom. So can you see that screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So
That's
this
clever.
is
You've already taught us how to do something new, Frank.
but it turns out you can do this, record it, and then you have your own little training videos. So if you want to practice, all you do is set up a PowerPoint with the fewest slides possible, and then go to the meeting by yourself and record. And you can post it to YouTube after. So there's going to be 8 slides. This one is the overview slide. And the general idea, oops, we might mute if you're in the background. Afzal Education Foundation. Yep, that one. Well, thanks. So 8 slides, and I would set up computer labs, Ethiopia, Kenya, all kinds of locations, but there's no electricity, the rooms get locked, so it's hard for the students to get the content. So as time changed, everyone ends up with a mobile phone, but they don't have the best internet. So the logic was put videos onto a little micro SD card and then ship the cards around so that they could be used in the phones. So it's a way of providing high quality education material offline. And then in remote locations, they know how to share phone to phone. So if they found education material they liked, math, science, English, first aid, they could copy it from phone to phone wherever they were. So that's the general idea. The 7 slides coming are, what does the word or the letters KES mean? Knowledge empowerment system. How do you insert a micro SD card and play it on a phone with a video player? How do you share keys? What are the general costs involved? Then we'll review content, review the system again, and then questions. So that's the general idea. General idea is there's a lack of education material in poor locations, and it would be nice to get it there in a way they could use it anytime they wanted. So we'll go next slide. And here, the general idea is KES means knowledge empowerment system. The logic is about a $3 little card that can slide into any Android phone, or you could put it in a PC or a laptop if you had one. Apple doesn't share, so it won't work with Apple. The little cards, either you pop open your Android phone and stick it in the back, or there's a little pin on the side. You can open the Android phone and slide it in. It turns out all you need is a child. If you have a child, the child will figure out how the card gets inserted into the phone. The size of the card, I was using a small size, so you get about 1,500 videos onto the little card. The best thing is to go to YouTube, find the most popular on whatever topic you want, like how do you clean water, how basic first aid, so you don't create the content. Just copy down what everyone already rated as high and useful, and then put them into little folders on the card. You could, this is a generic collection of information, but if, say, you only cared about medical, you could use the same idea and just pull down medical videos. So it's whatever content you want. Next slide. Insert micro SD card and play. So every Android phone I've found has a way to put a micro SD card into it. The cheaper the phone, the easier it is. Sometimes the more expensive the phone, the harder it is to insert things. The card either goes in the side or in the back where the battery is. Once you insert it, on the little card are Android apps, and 2 of those Android apps are video players. So there's a KM player and a VLC player. And the idea is you might not be able to go to the internet to add the apps, but you could go to the card because you just inserted the card. And then you install those 2 apps, plus whatever way you already knew how to play videos. So the little picture on the side with the hand holding a phone, it's showing a purple and an orange little app. So the purple guy is KM player, the orange one is VLC. Once they're installed, you click on them and they'll say, I want to index. So it's going to go look through, you have to say yes. It's going to go look through 1,500 videos in both of those. So the first time is a little slow. And then if you get a choice, say you want to view them by folder. So you don't really want to look at a list of 1,500. You want to look at little folders that are grouped by whatever topics were on the card. So the picture next to the phone, there's that's what you would see in KM player or VLC player. Those are little folders with pictures on them. If you touched one of those, it would start to play. And the kids are really smart. If you gave them a week, they would find the best of whatever category exists. They'll watch everything. And you don't have to worry that they got to the internet and went to a scary place. You don't need passwords. You don't need protection. The content is in essence trapped inside the little card, which would have worked anywhere. Would have worked in pandemic schools in America. You wouldn't have needed all the security and all the problems with the internet. You would just provide the $3 card and you would have had all your content for the teacher. An alternate is down below. if you can't get your video players to start, I put a little, it's like a local website that's on your phone, and it will play the videos also, but it's not very smart. It doesn't adapt. It's fixed in time. So if possible, use the 2 video players. And the reason there's 2 is everything breaks, so you'd still have 1 left. And they're on the card, so you can always just keep installing them when you throw them in the trash by mistake. Next slide, sharing keys. So here's a general overview of the So just for fun, those rich locations can be downloading huge amounts of education material, but it doesn't mean it gets to the poor location. So you put it on the little card for $3, and you can put it into an envelope. And in the United States, with 1 stamp, I can send an envelope anywhere in the world. So that little card could jump anywhere in the world without going through customs, without looking like it's worth stealing because it didn't have any little papers on the outside. It just looks like a letter with 1 stamp, shows up in the middle of nowhere. They put it in their phone. So you can have it jump anywhere, and those people can also copy it. So in Pakistan, they sell micro SDs. In Kenya, India, the little cards exist everywhere. So it is possible, say a Rotary in another location gets a copy of the card, they could just decide to make 20 cards or 30 cards and give them away in schools or to kids. The best examples I've had is giving them to the friendliest kid in the school, and the friendliest kid will share with everyone. And then I would say, if you share with everyone, next time I'll give you more. So it's like a little circle. So I wouldn't give it to the headmaster or the principal or the teacher. I would give it to the friendliest kid, and that kid goes out of their way to share it with every other kid. And kids learn really fast, so you don't have to spend a long time teaching anyone. Let's see the words on the side. So if we had an example in Pakistan where we couldn't mail it, it is possible if somewhere in the area there's a fast internet connection, we can remote access. So in Pakistan, I logged into the computer that was there from here in New York, and then I downloaded the content to the Pakistan computer. And we do it's nice when it's all reversed, so you do it at night when the internet's fast, and then from that download we could copy it to a local Pakistan card. So if you couldn't mail it in an envelope, there are tricky ways where you could pull it down if you could find 1 fast internet connection. And then once wherever it made it to, let's say it's Ethiopia, they have market day. So all the little villages come together for once a week to exchange products. If 1 person had a phone with keys on it, at market day, they could copy content to all the other phones that then go back to the little villages. So you don't have to move the card. You just have to get the card into 1 spot, and then it can move out. The best thing were little cartoon videos like why do you clean your hands? You don't need language to see why you could wash your hands, and how viruses move. If it's a bunch of texts, no one reads it, and you have language problems. We'll go next slide. So here's some of the costs. The costs keep getting cheaper. So I can buy 10 micro SD cards on Amazon for $30. Used to be $50. And then they're blank. Takes a little while. You just do an exact copy from 1 card to the other, and now you've got multiple cards. There's ways to do it faster, but $3 card is general cost. When I went to Haiti, I brought Android phones with me, and I didn't use them as phones. I used them as tablets. So here I can go to the store and buy a $30 brand new phone, current version of Android, all kinds of clever stuff that they think I'm going to use as a phone, but I never use it as a phone. I pull out the little SIM card, so it has no phone number. I put in the micro SD card, and then it works as a tablet. So I could train different classes at the orphanage using a set of 5 phones that I brought with me, and then they last all day, and at night I would charge them. So you could do multiple classrooms for almost no money. It's not worth stealing the phone because it's never going to work as a phone in the country. So maybe they steal 1 and then they stop stealing them because they're of no value. It's a relatively simple thing to use in schools anywhere. Or you can also try to use the teacher's phone. As soon as it's a personal phone, you run into personal problems about don't touch this or don't delete that. The last is a little picture of the global stamp down below. So if I go to the post office here with $1.50, they'll give me a stamp. I can put it on an envelope and mail it anywhere in the world. And we'll go next. So this is just to review content. So repetition. You got somewhere you have a little phone, you insert the little card. The pictures on the left, you see the purple and the orange, those are the two video players. But there's a whole bunch of other apps sitting on that little card if you wanted to. So in Haiti, I taught them how to use Word and Excel and PowerPoint using one of those little apps. So you could do job skills and training and use your Android as a computer. Most of what they wanted was the videos. So they would sit all day and play with videos. Let's see if anything else. Nope, same kind of stuff. So you get the little pictures on which would be folders that you click on. Down below, the bluish stuff was a website running from the phone. So it wasn't looking to the outside world. It was just looking at the content of the phone. So you had multiple ways to use the phone to get to the content. Next. So just review the system again. There's all kinds of wonderful educational resources that rich countries can access that the majority of the world can't. You could try to get them internet, but that doesn't seem to work. So instead, the rich country, for fun, could spend an hour, download great, wonderful content, and then put it on a tiny $3 card, put it in an envelope, send it around the world. It would be great if Rotary did it, because they have resources in 40,000 clubs, or Kiwanis or Lions, any of the international groups. It would work really well. And then they could put information about themselves or their local businesses. It doesn't matter what's on the card beyond the education material. Down below the picture on bottom right are two websites. So I put the information at earthteamwork.com and erotary.club. So those are two different ways to get to the information. And you could request a card by going to either of those. eRotary's easier to type. And then you put in your full address. It's got to be an international address, so you can't put in half an address and then hope that the envelope comes to you. You would have to make sure that the address you list would work coming from outside your country. And I think one more slide and then done. So here's questions. So same, where do I get more information? Website. How do I get a card? You go to the website, you fill out a form, and then I can just mail you a card. I don't have the best tracking system, but this last year I sent out to maybe 35 different countries, mostly Rotary organizations, but there's no real good feedback. So I'm not sure what happens to the cards. I know they can survive for years by themselves. I bumped into somebody last week who had dropped them off in Haiti, and they'd made it into Jamaica and 2 or 3 other places. So they're moving out there. And if the idea caught on, any organization that was international, like every refugee camp in the world could be providing high quality education material. So they're not just trapped in a camp for years learning nothing. So hopefully the idea spreads. And those are the 8 slides. So if you have any questions, let me know. We'll see if there's hands raised. I don't see, my view looks corrupt, but I can only see some of you. But you could just talk if you want.
So I'm going to try to
Thank you very
stop.
much.
Thank you.
As you were viewing, let's see, how do I close the view?
I think I can close it down here. Let's say shared basic screen. No, it doesn't do anything. I'll close it, but you can still ask your questions while we're closing that. Let's see.
So you stop the share?
I'm trying.
Well, here's share screen.
Yeah, you can kill it yourself.
Okay, I think I can do it.
Yeah, you're in charge of the world.
Oh, it didn't work. Didn't work. You want to stop others screen sharing? Yes, but it doesn't.
I
Well,
see
it's okay.
a hand up.
Yeah, go ahead and ask the question. Because maybe
Yeah,
we'll
thank
answer it
you.
with the screen. No, there you go.
I Thank you very much. It's a great project. Uh, we had a good experience the last time. Brother Frank just copied the same data here in Pakistan in our system, and we use that in different ways. The question is this: last time I always also raised this problem. Well, we just show the screen of mobile to our students. They just can watch one or two students at once. So I just put that all data in a card reader. The SD card I just put in card reader, and I just put in LED, and I play that. And after I just said, oh, the students, I want to donate these cards to you, and they said we don't have Android phones. So last time also I just requested to our friends, if we collect the 3G mobile phones from our those friends who are not using 3G, because the most of people are there using 4G mobile phone for their use. So they just retired their 3G mobile phone. If we just ask them to donate that phone, and we just distribute in different schools, and we can also give the good knowledge, and hopefully the people student can learn easily. Thank you.
Yeah, so the general idea is the phones get old very fast, and the video player doesn't care what phone it's on. So you could use any phone going back for 10 years, which most people throw away. It turns out well, they put it in a drawer forever. They don't throw it away. But the cheaper the phone, the easier it is. You can push factory reset, wipe out everything on the phone, so they don't Americans panic that you might learn their address or something. So you say factory reset, the phone goes back to the day it came from the store, and then you put the card in and give it to the child. And the nice thing is they're trapped inside the phone, so you don't have to worry that they're going somewhere else doing things that you could get in trouble for. Lions is an international organization that they collect glasses and then they distribute them all over the world. The same type of thing could happen with old mobile phones. It would just be probably tell the person to reset it before they put it in the box so they don't have to panic about it. But it's a huge waste of phones. Same with computers. There's going to be a very large waste when Windows 11 comes and all those computers can't run Windows 10. So it would be nice if the ones with all the resources could shift them over to the people with nothing. And it's nice, even Pakistan, India, they're moving so fast with phones that they're old also. So great idea. Also, you can stick it in, if you can find one of these big screen TVs, it has a space in the back where you can insert a micro SD or something similar. So you can be playing the videos off of any, like a restaurant that has a LCD in it, could be used as an education center for learning. And then you didn't buy the resource, you just used a resource that was local. Other questions or ideas?
I just show the SD card. This one is an SD card of 32 GB, and this one is a card reader. The data of our ESA. So I just put the whole data in this card and put it in a card reader, and I put this USB in the LCD.
Yeah.
And I just invite the students. I hopefully tomorrow is Sunday, and after church service, I just invite the children at my home, and I just play that data, and I just play that material for 1 hour. The students just enjoy, and they just make up fun and sing a poems with whatever we have in this USB.
Yeah, the nice thing about the card reader is cheaper than the actual card, so it's not big money. The nice thing is that the children learn really fast and they learn the correct accent. So if they're learning English, they sound like a native speaker. Like when I trained Tibetan children in India, they would listen exactly to the teacher and they sounded just like an Indian person speaking English. So it's nice that when they listen to the content on the cards, they learn very well. So they would learn to have a perfect accent. And sometimes if you just know English, you can get a job. It didn't matter what the other skills were. They'll train you in those if they can hire you with English. So that's a lot of the content was just children's version of English. Other questions or comments?
I have a
We're-
question.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Thank you. First of all, thank you. This is incredible knowledge, and I'm figuring out ways to utilize this for my nonprofit. And so far, we've served a lot of refugees in Turkey. So my question is, once you download everything on the micro SD card and you put it in a phone and you take it overseas, can you then edit what is on that micro SD card? If I want to replace it, if I have like, I don't know, education series 1 through 5, and now I want to do 5 through 10, can I go back on that card and replace the material?
Yeah, the card doesn't care. It's like a hard drive.
Oh,
But
okay.
the question was, can you modify content? And there's lots of different ways to modify content. That what he just held up there with a little card reader, you could have just pulled the card out of the phone, stuck it in the little card reader, put it in a laptop because it had a bigger screen.
Okay.
It's hard to do tiny screen stuff. So you could put it into a big screen and then do whatever you wanted to it. And the main thing was to keep it in folders by category so that when the video program displays it, you can say display by folder. So whatever you thought was a category, make it a folder. And the shorter you made the names, the better. Turns out people can't read. So the cool thing about the video one is they make these little icons and then they can guess by the icon, or I would put numbers in front of every name. So I could say, go to number 10, even though you can't read all those words that came after it. So I could say, go to folder A, go to video 10, and blah, blah, blah. You can also connect an Android phone straight to a laptop, and if you practiced, you can have it show up as a hard drive. So when I modify it, I don't take it out because then I drop it or it gets dirty or I lose it. So I just take the whole phone, use the power cable, which is also a data cable that no one uses, connect that USB to the laptop or the desktop, and it will work. You have to practice a little. And then however you know how to use your computer, you would see the phone with the micro SD card as a hard drive. And then it's much faster to move stuff around. There is a speed limit on it. So if it was a normal person, that would be good enough. If not, you'd yank the card out and then insert it into a computer and modify it. And if it was Turkey, they have pretty good internet in multiple locations. So you could find find a Rotarian that works at a bank or someplace fast, use their internet. The thing I did was remote access. So I used something named TeamViewer. Everything I use is free. So if TeamViewer is on both machines, then I see their screen. Then I'm actually downloading everything in Turkey. And then I'm the one moving everything fast. So you wouldn't have to be in Turkey. You would just need a person in Turkey who gave you internet access through their laptop. So you could have a group of volunteers who never left. They could live in Florida or Texas or anywhere in the world, Switzerland, and their job would just be remote access, fix the little cards, and then the local person copies them. But it would be great. It's super sad in Turkey, the whole Mediterranean. They're just sitting in refugee camps. They could be learning something for almost free. And they don't also know how to do first aid. It'd be great if there was basic first aid videos. You could save a lot of lives without the language. Just here, this is what happens when you're cut, or how do you purify water? I watched lots of people die from just bad water. And there was free ways of fixing that. Other questions? Lon,
Yes.
you're in charge.
Well, I just wanted to point out to everybody that, of course, this is going on YouTube. We might get 10,000 responses, but up to a point, right now, we're currently glad to send this card to you for free. Niskuna Rotary and Frank out of his is sponsoring this. So what you have to do is go to his website, go to the website and fill out a request. Just give your address. As Frank pointed out, you have to give us an address that will work. But if you give a complete address, we'll buy the stamp, we'll put the card in, and we'll get you your first card. And of course,
Our target is to go through Rotary, so we know that it's just not getting sold. So the idea would be find your local Rotarian, and we'll send it there to a Rotary club. Otherwise, it's just lost money. So, and then in theory, that Rotary club would be the one saying, yes, the card got used for something good. So yeah, we would mail it, but in my world, I'm still trying to connect it to one of the 40,000 Rotary clubs that's out there.
right. And as I was mentioning before the meeting started was the criteria to be a Rotarian is you have to be a person of ethics. So that's why we feel we can put it in the hands of Rotarians and get put to good use, and not people will be honor service before self instead of self before service. I also wanted to point out the content that on the 32 gigabyte drive, Frank puts tons of stuff. Now he pointed out to you that any of us can go out and get things and put it on. We can customize the card to our purposes. But the way the card is set up right now, there's 1,000 books. There's textbooks from first grade, second grade, right up through high school biology, chemistry, and physics. There's maps. There's how to make mooncatchers, which is a washable, long-lasting menstrual kit. There's Hibernian books, such as Where There Is No Doctor. It teaches the local villager how to become a doctor when he doesn't have X-ray machines and MRIs, and it's first aid essentially, but one level up. These books are written by doctors and how they would treat people when they didn't have the resources that doctors in the Western world have. And one of our Rotarians is from Nigeria, and she's done a tremendous work, awesome Alice, in the village where she is from. And one of the things she and I did was we spent time going out to YouTube and collecting videos to teach people to do things we wanted them to know how to do. For example, how to make a tippy tap, which is a hand washing station. It's like a gallon jug that you fill with water, and it's got a foot. When you're done making this thing, it's got a foot pedal. You touch the foot, and it puts a little water in your hands. You don't have to touch any faucet. Another thing on the cards is wash rags. That's a Water and Sanitation Rotarian Action Group. They have a handbook on how to make toilets, depending on how much money you have and what the conditions are. And just yesterday, I sent that information to Dr. Liss, who's doing good work in Malawi. There's a Rotary Club that wants to sponsor dry toilets, and he said, "Could you share with me again that information on how to make dry toilets?" And Rotary has that information on there.
Lon, just so we know that the system would be the key. The content changes, so some things get knocked off when you have a limit. So it turns out if you can just get them to start watching the videos as a child, they'll figure out the rest. But the other stuff, they kind of give up before they get to it. So it's try to get kids involved right away, and they'll help you figure everything else out on that card.
Now, you said one thing about spending an hour to download good stuff from the internet.
Yeah.
I was wondering maybe we should do another video on how that's done.
Yeah,
How do you go to YouTube and say, I want just 5-star videos about mathematics, for example?
Yep. The best way would to find a local child, and they'll tell you immediately, because you don't have to remember the steps. But the logic would be create the demand first. So if you saw the reason, like people die from unclean water, that they didn't have to die from that. And you could just say, I'm going to go find the best videos on how do you clean water using sunlight, which you can put it in a plastic bottle that was trash. You set it on your roof for 24 hours, and the ultraviolet light killed every thing that would mostly kill you. So all you'd have to do is rotate your bottle off your roof and your baby wouldn't have died from diarrhea. Like those videos already exist. And once you have a motivation, I can go to Google and say how to download YouTube video, and it'll tell me five different ways I could do it. It's just you'd have to say, I care about the baby dying. Somebody knows the solution, and I can get the solution to the mom or to the clinic. They got clinics everywhere with no equipment in them and no material. So if Rotarians or Kiwanis or Lions or whoever cares knew they could make a difference, then they can find the answer also. We can do the video, but people will forget or maybe not view it. But the whole internet, every child out there knows how to download a video because they want it. So you just have to find some friendly kid and you're trained. Or you recruit them, like you give them candy and they download videos for you. Just trade them something they want. But it's the point would be the system. $3, easy to move. You could provide high quality education material anywhere in the world by yourself without a special person. And then it doesn't have to be perfect, that you could do version 2 and version 3 if you wished. So the individual content, sometimes they can't find it. It takes too long searching through that card, but they just get one child involved and you have a chance.
Right now there are about 8 billion people on the planet, and you said like the majority of that, so that's a lot of billion people who are in desperate need of education.
Yes.
When I was born, there were 4 billion. When my father was born, there were 2 billion. And this certainly is not sustainable. If 8 billion of us want to have a tuna sandwich today, that's a lot of tuna that have to be killed. And there's no wonder that 90% of the tuna and big fish are gone. So we have 2 great reasons to pursue this. One is it helps lift people out of poverty. If we have any kindness in our hearts at all, we want them to be people to be educated, be able to take care of themselves better. But then there's a selfish reason. It turns out educated people have fewer children. They have 2, 3 maybe, instead of, I mentioned Awesome Alice. Her father had 14 wives. She has so many brothers and sisters she doesn't know. And she never went to school. She didn't know how to hold a pencil when she came to the United States. So and Project Drawdown, which is concerned with what we need to do for climate change, they put educating people in the top 10, ahead of solar, ahead of electric cars. So if you feel that climate is an important issue, this education is one of the most important things we can do. And Frank has teaching us how to do it inexpensively and on a large scale. So in my mind, I can't think of anything, or there are few things more important than this. And I can't say it's the most important. Like, I think being kind to one another is most important. I would put that at number 1. Washable menstrual pads so that women can stay in school and they can be mobile. I would put it number 2, and then education is number 3. And then microloans or the ability to support themselves as ways to uplift people out of extreme poverty. So, Frank, thank you for creating all of this. And I hope that the small group of people that we have today will help spread it. And when I was club president, I ended every meeting with this saying by Margaret Mead, the anthropologist. Never doubt that a small group of concerned, thoughtful citizens, and that's us right now on this Zoom, never doubt that a small group of people can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. So that's our mission. Before we close,
I see a hand up.
Yep, hand up. Yep, Sunil. Sunil,
thank you very much. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'm unmuted here. Thank you very much. Actually, I was just thinking, well, brother, Frank said that we can, if we donate $3 for that card, and I I was thinking, well, from we are here from Pakistan, we are here in Pakistan. Well, we just share and we just give the SD card to our friends, to our friends, children, or students. Why not we just make a little donation from Pakistan, and we just copy that material and give through those students who has Android phones, and we can give them. So how's that idea? $3 is a not so much high amount here in Pakistan. Everyone can pay that. Everyone can donate that. So I can donate $6.
Yeah, it's a good idea. There would be logistics or copying, or you find the price in Pakistan for the card so that it doesn't change currency and banking and all this, and then purchase the cards there, and maybe someone from the outside helps, like a different club says, oh, we'll help you because the card cost is $4 in Pakistan or something. But it would be good to move the idea, then more children educated, then better jobs. Everything goes up from there. It would be good. And I think other Rotarians would help if there was a Rotary member in Pakistan saying, I'm trying to help. Yeah. Maybe Elliot would help.
So
He looks friendly.
up to up to Brother Lon. Up to Brother Lon.
Yeah.
I just want to thank you, Frank, both for, I mean, the concept is so great. The material is so great, but you bring also with it a real practical experience about how to help this in not our, underprivileged communities that are struggling. Just amazing awareness.
Yeah, I went and tested. I went to the poorest places on purpose. And then the same, like you're not going to fix the laptops and the computers and the power and the security, but you could skip all that. And if they have a phone, or they will have a phone, just give it to meet them where they're going to be, instead of trying to do an American version. Like our school system, huge amounts of money. They're not very much more educated than anyone else. I think we're all done, Lon.
Yep, and I'll repeat one tip that you gave me is you said that when I buy the $30 phones, which I've done, take out the SIM card. I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't know that tip. So when I turn the phone on, it's trying to force me to log on to their network and and become, but I didn't buy it to be a phone. I bought it to be a tablet. And so thank you for that tip. When I get the $30 phone, pull out the SIM card. And just
Yeah,
and
and
then,
the cheaper the phone, the less friendly it is to the rest of the world. So it kind of fixes itself. The Americans don't use any system the rest of the world uses. So if I take that phone to Haiti, it doesn't even matter. They're never going to be able to use that phone as a phone.
yeah,
So
well,
it's
I'm saying that by taking out the SIM card, I'm thinking that it won't force me to go through this setup. It wanted me to set up and connect to their network. I wasn't interested in that,
yeah,
but it was hard for me to shut it all off.
yeah.
I'm thinking if I took the SIM card out, it would have been more like buying a blank tablet.
Or if you found a child, you'd be surprised. Someone's waving. I don't know. Vivio. Good to see you.
Hanji.
Oh,
Well, I'm going to end the meeting with the four-way test of the things that all Rotarians think, say, and do. Number one, is it the truth? Are we being honest? Two, is it fair? Is it what we're thinking, what we're doing? Is it fair to all concerned? Three, will it build goodwill and better friendships? You don't want to always be right. You want to be able to develop goodwill and better friendships. And four, will it be beneficial to all? You don't want to be doing things where people get hurt. And with that, thank you so much for everyone who came today. And we have a task. We have in our hands, in our power, to make an enormous impact on the planet, which needs us desperately. So I hope we can spread this as much as we can. We will put this on YouTube.
Thanks.
So, goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.